and welcome. The show is on record where every word matters on High Impact 102.1 FM. We are live on YouTube and on X. I am Vivian Oguche. On the program, we discuss the actions, inactions of government, ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as business and health affairs that shape our worldview. The program also encapsulates personalities and institutions that make decisions that affect the lives of people one way or the other. And then we also avail you, a listener, the opportunity to call in and make your contribution. Now, the recent murder of Christiana Ido, a 300-level student, has fueled outrage, highlighting the deep-seated issues of violence against women and the insufficient response from authorities. Nigerians, particularly on social media, have rallied for justice, underscoring the urgency for systemic change in handling such crimes. The suspect, apprehended after confessing to the crime, has been linked to multiple deaths, raising suspicions about investigative failures that may have allowed him to evade justice for years. Now, the public outcry has spurred demands for deeper investigations and legal reforms to address the pattern of unchecked violence against women. Legal experts and human rights activists stress the importance of swift and thorough investigations, arguing that only with robust legal actions and societal pressure can Nigeria begin to dismantle the impunity surrounding violence against women. Now the phone line is open, 0700 1021 1021. You can send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. We are live on YouTube, High Impact 102.1 FM, and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. You can also watch us live on High Impact TV, on Facebook at High Impact Studios, and High Impact TV on Nicomsat 42 degree East. We'll take a short break. When we come back, discussion continues. Stay with us. On record,
every word matters.
Welcome to the high side of life. Join us every day at High Impact 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
I just want to be yeah.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity. Let's help you take it high
and out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
Tease your taste buds from a world of delectable choices. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
Wake up! Get ready to start your day off right with the most exciting breakfast show.
Join us every weekday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. for the best mix of news updates, weather forecasts, trending stories, and fun.
Oh yeah!
Our dynamic hosts, Sarah Owusu Ansa, Olumide Shokoya, and Vivian Oguche will keep you entertained and informed with the latest updates, trending topics, and hilarious banter.
Play exciting games, win amazing prizes, and enjoy special guest interviews. So set your alarm clocks and tune into High Impact TV for the ultimate breakfast show experience.
Don't miss out on the fun. The Breakfast Cafe, starting your day off right.
Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Welcome to the high side of life. Join us every day at High Impact 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
I just want to be
Something big is in town. Something powerful and majestic. A mammoth creation destined to become a legend by all who encounter it. High Impact Planet, Nigeria's biggest family theme park, with facilities designed for friends, families, or large groups under a relaxing atmosphere. Be welcomed by wowing displays of animatronics, thrill out with realistic arcade games, or enjoy a number of thrilling heart-racing park rides. Experience the 5D and 12D cinemas and challenge your mates with bumper cars and go-kart races. Don't forget to slide into the ice rink or simply take time out to enjoy a pizza at our delightful restaurant and dessert spot, or at the exquisite club lounge. High Impact Planet, 12 Lagos Ibadan Expressway, Ibafo, opposite MFM Prayer City. Visit high-impactplanet.com for details and inquiries. Fun just got real.
Foment, foment, foment.
Record where every word matters on High Impact 102.1 FM. We are live on YouTube, High Impact 102.1 FM, and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. You can also watch us live on Facebook at High Impact Studios and High Impact TV on Nikon South 42 degree East. Now, to join the conversation, you can call 0700 1021 1021, or you can send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. Now, the topic of the day is culture of impunity. Nigerians decry violence against women. And joining us right now is Betty Abba. She is an activist and founder, See Hope. Betty, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now let's hit the ground running, shall we?
Okay.
Right. What do you think, though, is responsible for the culture of impunity when it comes to violence against women, particularly in Nigeria?
Okay. Thank you very much. The line is breaking a bit here. I think.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly. But did you get the question?
Yes.
All right. Please, let's roll then.
Put it again.
I said what? Yeah. What do you think is responsible for the culture of impunity when it comes to violence against women, especially in Nigeria?
Okay, I think two things come to mind immediately, instantly, when you talk about the culture of impunity against women in Nigeria and why this has continued over the ages. First is that Nigeria is a country that is deeply dipped in patriarchy. Women are seen as disposable items. Women are even rated in many communities less than children. And so it's easy that people feel that it's easy to hurt women and get away with it. So it's more of the way in which people are socialized to have very low regards for women. And if you can hurt your animal and get away with it, of course you can always hurt a woman and get away with it. That is the impression. And then secondly, is the laxity in our law enforcement. When society evolves over time, all kinds of sentiments, all kinds of negative social norms, and then with the introduction of very strict legislation, legal frameworks in which people are charged, in which people are taught, are forced to behave properly, it's put in place. Of course, people sit up and behave like normal human beings. But in Nigeria, people continue to hurt women, to violate the rights of women in all kinds of ways and get away with it because law enforcement agencies are compromised, deeply compromised.
Yeah, when you talk...
and the laws most of the time are put up, but they're not enforced. And so people just have that freedom, that liberty to continue to live the old ways, to continue to hurt women because they know that they can always get away by bribing the law enforcement agencies, by evading the laws, and with no form of consequences.
All right, let me come in here. You talked about laxity in law enforcement. How about the family? Now, if you listen to our intro, we talked about the suspect. We are just calling him the suspect because the case is in court right now. He was arrested by the army, handed over to the police, but he's been called a serial killer. He killed his girlfriend. It was reported that he killed his girlfriend when he was 17 years old. And then in 2018, he killed his sister. And then just this year, he killed his other girlfriend. Now, his family, it is reported, had been in the know, but nobody said anything. So you say this is because of the laxity of law enforcement. How about the culture of impunity within families?
Yes. That is also a major factor. The fact that people think, and it also boils down to the laxity in terms of law enforcement. Because in US now, currently, in a way to check all these school killings, especially the killing by young people of innocent children, now they've decided in almost every state in the US that parents should be investigated and charged. Happened recently, the latest case in Atlanta, in US, the parents of the boy, I think the father has been charged because someone cannot be in your vicinity and carrying out a mass killing.
All right, Betty, could you just hold on? Let's quickly pick this call. Let me quickly pick this call. We'll be right back. Let's pick the call. All right, good morning. Thank you for calling. Please, who am I talking to? All right, the caller, would you please do well to call back? Yeah, you can call in, please, and let us know. All right, the caller is back. All right, good morning. Thanks for calling. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Rijan. I'm coming from Ishaga.
Thank you.
In Lagos.
Thank you so much for calling. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah?
Go ahead with your contribution. What do you want to contribute to the topic of discussion this morning? All right. Thank you though for calling in, and do well to call back and contribute. Betty, please go ahead with your contribution. You were talking about the case in the US.
You see that we're going to have the US will witness a drastic reduction in killings because parents will now hand over their children to law enforcement, knowing that when the children go on a shooting spree and kill people, they're going to be held accountable. They're going to be charged. They're going to be disgraced publicly. And so, if Nigerian parents, Nigerian families know as well that they will be arrested, they'll be charged, they'll be prosecuted alongside their killing sons or daughters or whatever the person is, the culprit is, then they won't sit up. And because people feel that, okay, nothing will come out of it, possibly this boy will evade justice. Possibly, even if he's arrested, we're going to bribe our way out. And so everyone is relaxed. You know, when you have a very strict father, you don't relax. It says 6 p.m., no one comes into this house after 6 p.m., no one goes out. Even everybody will sit up.
Mm-hmm.
By the time your father is maybe a drunkard that goes around drinking, nothing happens. You just come and go anyhow. So it depends on, it is law enforcement that defines the sanity of a country in contemporary times. Before now, we had kingdoms, we have fiefdoms, we have chiefs, we have kings ruling. Now it's law enforcement. But in Nigeria, law enforcement is compromised.
Wow.
There's much laxity. And some people feel they can do anything. People who feel they can look away. There are even, I've forgotten the name of the law in the US, where I think that is what is even being applied now in terms of school shooting. When you are aware that something crime is taking place and you saw it and you did not raise the hand to help the victim, you did not raise the alarm, you do nothing, you are liable. There's a law in the US as well. I've forgotten the particular what is meant.
All right.
It all boils down to the laxity in law enforcement. And that is a major problem in Nigeria. Politicians think they can get away with all kinds of crime. Everyday people think they can get away with all kinds of crime because there is laxity. Nobody sits up. So people become institutional unto themselves.
Okay, let me come here. Let me come in here, please. You know, I know you are a foot soldier when it comes to this. You take care of women who have been battered and abused by men. So this is my question. What is the psychological and social effect on these women that you've worked with, and women generally, living in a society where violence against them is met with impunity?
I think that they feel completely unsafe. They feel completely unsafe. Right now in Nigeria, there's a major rise in femicide. There's a major rise in femicide. Women, especially young women, are being killed. And how many of the killers have been brought to justice? Along the way, after the general outrage, the media trial, everything dies down. How many of the young men, the Yahoo boys, spiritual killers are being brought to book? And so people just feel unsafe. And so people just pray. Everyone is becoming spiritual because there's hardly anyone to turn to in terms of protection. Everyone is turning to God. And so there is a general feeling of women, the general feeling of women completely feel unsafe at this point. Because it's not even about walking in the dark. This girl disappeared on her way between her house and Yaba. In the daytime, in broad daylight, she was killed by a friend, someone she called a friend. And so nobody really feels safe. Even, I think somewhere in Benin, I read in the news yesterday, someone was being charged for killing his own mom. So if you're not safe from your dad, you're not safe from your own children, I mean, who are you going to be safe with? So there's a general sense of unsafety. There's a general sense of fear. That is what I can say to that.
Yeah, that's a very good answer. Do you think then that there are preventive measures for violence against women? But before you answer that question, not too long ago, Nigeria's first lady, wife of the president, Senator Remi Tinubu, had called for stiffer, measures for people who commit violence or who perpetrate violence against women. She's asked for stiffer penalties. In the past, we've had women leaders who have called for perpetrators of violence against women, especially when it comes to rape. They've called for these men to be castrated. But let me not put words in your mouth. Do you think that there are preventive measures for violence against women?
Of course, there are legal frameworks. In Nigeria, I think the biggest legal framework we've had is the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, the VAP of 2015 under President Jonathan. But recently, there have been moves by the National Assembly to repeal that very act. So I don't know for what reason. I have no idea. So there have been resistance. There's been a lot of agitations from women's rights activists for that act not to be repealed. So there are all kinds of provision in that act in terms of the punishment that should be meted out to sexual predators, to wife beaters, to people who perpetuate the culture of female genital mutilation and all kinds of harmful cultural practices. But then the problem we have is with enforcement. Most people are not even aware of the VAP Act, for instance. And so people are not even aware that they could be safe. Now we run a safe house in Lagos and we've seen all kinds of things. The majority of the issue we have is even women that are ignorant of their rights. People come to the shelter and then they're not even aware. They say they never knew that there's anything in existence in the world called a safe home for women that they could have run out decades ago. And then at the end of the day, some of them actually go back because they are already being socialized to think that they have no rights. With all our sensitization and everything, people still go back. Someone wanted to come back to the shelter yesterday. She was in our shelter and she's been under domestic violence for about 23 years. And then this last time, the man nearly killed her, so she was rushed to the shelter and she recovered psychologically, physically. And then she said someone called and said she had to go home because if she doesn't go home, if the man dies, he will not be able to inherit his property. I mean, you are going back to the violence and nearly claimed your life. And then yesterday she called and said she's warning now that the violence has increased. Can you imagine that? I mean,
so financial...
It had, like, even referring back to your previous question, a major psychological effect on women who have no feeling of worth anymore.
So financial...
Our society has framed them.
Yeah, let me come in here. Financial instability is one of the factors that make these women run back to the people who violate them, yeah? Yes. So you talked about running a shelter. Do we have enough of these shelters in Nigeria?
Of course we don't. Our shelter is one of less than 20 shelters running effectively in Nigeria, and most of the stable shelters are actually in Lagos. So you can imagine what happens to women all over the country who are trying to run away to safety. Now, talking about financial stability. When you are financially stable, you are independent, and you can take care of yourself. It's easy to walk out of a violent relationship, a violent marriage. A majority of Nigerian women are not financially stable. And that's why there's serious reason to consciously, deliberately empower women.
Fantastic. Yeah. Before I let you go, though, you talked about a female genital mutilation. That's a crime, yeah, against a woman.
Yes, it is.
Let's talk about that a little bit before we go, just in 30 seconds. Why is it a crime?
It is a crime because it's female genital mutilation is about a fellow human being trying to ride on a so-called vague and antiquated culture to play God in the life, trying to play God in the life of another person. It's an abuse of someone else's sexuality. Because you're saying this woman is going to be, our culture says this woman is going to be wayward, and so some part of her body has to be cut off. I mean, when you talk about people being wayward, when you talk about people, I mean, all over the world, it's men that are actually sexually active more than the men.
All right, Betty, let me quickly pick this call. I'll come back to that. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. My name is Sunday Odibashi.
Oh, hi, Mr. Dibashi. Always a pleasure to have you. Sonia Dibashi is an activist and a friend of the house. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, I think the issue you are discussing is very topical. Issue of gender violence, violence against women and others. It's good that your guest has been talking about the psychological aid of that, because quite often emphasis are being laid on physical violence, assault and others, women being battered and whatever. Now it's good that she's also making incursion, because there's also economic violence, where women also suffer deprivation in terms of basic needs and necessity of life. They can't even run their home. And in the desperation for support from the male counterpart, they fall victim of violence and others. And some fear it because they think that is the only way they can survive. So your guest actually made a very topical issue on that. And in that respect, I think women need economic empowerment so that they can even on their own take care of their own existence and their own household. And the issue of law enforcement, I think, the police, in as much as people may not have faith on the police, I think Lagos State government has done very well in handling such cases. Even in cases of murder, brutality and others. So they've really done that, and victims are not always good to come forward and say they need help in terms of enforcement. Otherwise, I think if they have the current of the Lagos State government would have been able to contain this very much extent. I've been in the court. I witnessed where some of these cases are being prosecuted and what comes out of it. The issue of the court system and others is a very disturbing issue, because the violence in that area comes across all genders, both male and female. And that is where the law enforcement agency has to really come in. But the fear is that even some people have the fear that even those in the security operatives are even members. So people are even feel secure going to report to them. And these are issues they will need to address. Fundamentally, for those who go to the extreme or say they take another person's life, I think they don't even deserve to have their own life, after they have taken someone's life. So I think that is where we are. We need a total reorientation of the society.
Total reorientation. Thank you so much, Sunday. That was brilliant. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. All right. So we've been talking about violence against women, the culture of impunity generally, and Sunday just nipped it in the bud. But before Sunday, though, Betty was talking about female genital mutilation, and she basically said it's a crime against women. Also, it depicts a culture of impunity. Betty, is away for now. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll have Okay, who is also an activist. He will talk to us a little bit about how law enforcement is doing so far so well, and then we'll have Betty say her piece as well, and then we'll wrap this up. We'll be right back after the short break.
The democracy has not given us peace, but
get ready to dive into the heart of action. Welcome to Sport Hub, where passion meets unparalleled excitement.
Mainu, oh, what a goal!
Get set for the adrenaline rush of a lifetime as we bring to you the hottest highlight, the biggest stories, interviews, and the most thrilling moment from the world of sport. No matter what your favorite sport is, we've got you covered. From football to basketball, tennis, boxing, Formula One, and everything in between, we bring you the best from around the globe. Join us every Monday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon, Wednesday and Friday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on High Impact Television on Nikontat 42 Degree East. Sports Hub, the heart of action.
Welcome back. The show is on record where every word matters on High Impact 102.1 FM. Now you can watch us live on Facebook at High Impact Studios. We are also live on YouTube, High Impact 102.1 FM, and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. We are still discussing the culture of impunity. Nigerians decry violence against women, and this time I have Okechukwu Nwaguma. He is the founder, RULAC, and he is also an activist. Okay, thank you so much for being a part of the show this morning.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be in the show.
Thank you. I don't know if you listened to Betty earlier on make her contribution.
No, I wasn't logged on. I wasn't listening to her. I just got into the conversation.
Oh, basically, she lambasted law enforcement. She said there was laxity in law enforcement, that there was no deterrent. That's why you have people doing this thing over and over again. So I want to start with you from the beginning. What are the existing laws related to violence against women in Nigeria?
Well, apart from international laws that Nigeria is party to, there is the Violence Against Persons Act, which prohibits violence against persons. But of course, I'm sure you know that this law was originally contemplated as Violence Against Women Act, but because of the opposition that the law faced in the parliament, some of the men thought that women are not the only ones that face violence, so why must it be violence against women? So in order to make it pass, it was now expanded to Violence Against Persons.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the Police Act also has provisions that prohibit violence against every citizen, including women. Then the Anti-Torture Act, but there are several local and international laws that prohibit violence against both men and women, but particularly because women are a vulnerable group, a special group that requires special protection, under the law. So I think that is why it is important for us to continue to focus on strengthening laws that protect women as an endangered group.
Very well said, Okechukwu. By the way, guys, Okechukwu is Executive Director of Rule of Law and Accountability Advocacy Center, like I said earlier on, RULAC. Now, just recently, wife of Nigeria's President, Senator Remi Tinubu, called for stiffer laws and penalties to curb rising rape cases and gender-based violence. What's your take on this?
I think that a lot of things come into play. It's not, I agree that there is need for stronger legal protection because this case in question, for me, emphasizes necessity for more robust laws and protection for women, advocacy for stricter penalties for perpetrators of gender-based violence, and improved legal framework is also critical. But for me, I think that this incident underscores the growing danger that women face from not just domestic violence as we see every day, but also from predatory behavior. It highlights an urgent need for societal change regarding how women's safety is prioritized and addressed.
This is very well said. Now, when it comes to enforcement of existing laws, right, do you think law enforcement is doing enough? Case in point, the suspect we talked about in our introduction, who had killed his girlfriend at 17, killed his sister in 2018, and just killed another girlfriend. The army arrested him and handed him over to the police. But so far, do you think law enforcement is doing enough?
Yeah, what comes out clearly from the details I have about this case is that the fellow in question appears to be a serial killer targeting mainly women. The other point is the fact that it was the military, not even the police,
the army, yes,
The army, yes, the army. Not even the police that tracked and arrested him and then handed him over to the police. So for me, again, the case raises questions about the competence and responsiveness of the Nigeria police in addressing crimes against women. There's a pressing need for enhanced training, resources, and specialized units for investigating crimes against women.
Fantastic. Now, before I let you go, okay, lots of women, especially those in rural areas, are ignorant of their rights, right? What can government do to ensure adequate sensitization? This is a topic Betty brought up. This is a particular issue Betty is concerned about, and of course we had to call our Sunday Odibashi. Sensitization. We have something called an agency called the NOA. What do you think government can do to ensure adequate sensitization? That will be after this call, please. Good morning, caller. Thanks for calling. All right, I lost the call. All right, okay, you can go ahead with your answer.
Well, I think that there is need for government to. There are many things that government can do apart from strengthening the capability of law enforcement, but also raising awareness about serial offenders. If the suspect, is suspected, is confirmed as a serial women killer, it highlights the need for better tracking and monitoring of individuals with a history of violence against women. Early intervention measures must be prioritized. But in addition to that, community involvement is important, and I think Betty is right on that. The involvement of community members in reporting suspicious behavior and supporting victims is crucial for improving safety. Of course, building trust between communities and law enforcement can lead to better cooperation in investigations.
All right, okay, that's very well said. Your contribution has been very, very brilliant, and we appreciate you for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you, my pleasure.
All right, I've been talking with Okechukwu Nwaguma. He is the Executive Director, Rule of Law and Accountability Advocacy Center, RULAG, right here in Lagos. We'll take a short break. When we come back, Betty will be giving us her closing argument. Stay with us.
Wake up! Get ready to start your day off right with the most exciting breakfast show.
Join us every weekday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. for the best mix of news updates, weather forecast, trending stories, and fun.
Oh yeah!
Our dynamic hosts, Sarah Owusu Ansa, Olumide Shokoya, and Vivian Oguche will keep you entertained and informed with the latest updates, trending topics, and hilarious banter.
Play exciting games, win amazing prizes, and enjoy special guest interviews. So set your alarm clocks and tune into High Impact TV for the ultimate breakfast show experience.
Don't miss out on the fun. The Breakfast Cafe, starting your day off right.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
All right, Betty, thank you so much for joining us again. We're wrapping this up quickly, right? I don't know if you listened to OK make his submissions. Betty, can you hear us? Okay, we're wrapping this up. You have 1 minute to give us your closing argument. Okay, who is an activist, also talked about naming and shaming perpetrators of violence against women. What's your final take on this matter before we wrap up?
All right, thank you very much. I agree with you that we have to name and shame perpetrators of gender-based violence as a way of deterring potential perpetrators and as a way of ensuring that there's sanity in the society. Because if people keep getting away with crime, then there's no society, there's no law and order, and I cannot call such a society like a nation or a state. So we have to name and shame, and we have to ensure that the institutions are strong enough to hold people accountable for their crimes. That's how people sit up, and that's how a society progresses. And then finally, to say that we cannot normalize evil, we cannot normalize crime. Female genital mutilation is a crime against womanhood. We should not normalize it. A wife beating is a crime. A child abuse is a crime. Rape is a crime, and we should not normalize it. Potential perpetrators should not normalize. They should not think that they can always get away, because there's always a day to catch the thief. And then people who are victims, who are survivors, should not normalize it, because what we have running a shelter, running an organization, what I've experienced is people normalizing the attack, the violation of their person, of their rights, because they feel that, okay, nothing will come out of it. I cannot go back to my father's house. I cannot get out of this place. And so let me live with it. You cannot live with it. There is help somewhere. Cry out. Shame the perpetrators. There will always be help somewhere, because perpetrators thrive in silence. Violence thrives in silence. When they buy silence of the victims, they can always thrive even for decades. And why we cannot always also normalize this as a society is because trauma is transgenerational. People are died as a result of being violated sexually, physically. Encounter them, everyone becomes a victim of the trauma. Not relating with a normal human being. This is a traumatized person, and he transfers the trauma to people. He or she misbehaves and all of that. So as a society, we have to be decisive not to normalize abuse in any form, and we have to speak up against it. As bad as things are in this country, we have NGOs.
We need to wrap up, Betty.
The celebrities standing up against this evil, and so once you cry out, it's possible that there will be help somewhere.
And that's
I think we should not normalize